So what happens when Aspinall fights John Jones?
There's some guys, they're just blessed. And then with John, it's blessed and his mind. He's not going to lose. He's going to find a way to get you. And he's going to do it clever. He's not going to point the center of the octagon. Let's go right here. We'll stand right here. Never going to happen with John Jones. You're getting knees to the gut. You're getting your knees kicked, laced up with elbows where your head's bleeding. He's going to slowly dismantle you and find a way to submit you.
What makes John Jones so unique?
There is a dark side to John Jones. John Jones is he's a John Jones beats the out of people. When you really think about fighting, put two guys in a room and who comes out? John Jones walks out of that room every time.
John's so much better on the ground, like worlds better, you know, and it takes so long to get really good on the ground. And we've seen Pereira get in trouble with guys on the ground that are nowhere near John's level, nowhere near. John dominates everybody. He took down Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier is an Olympic wrestler. I think the #1 consensus greatest of all time is John Jones, because John Jones just went up and easily won the heavyweight title with a first round submission. Easily. Just took the guy down, strangled him quick.
With each passing day, the excitement for the John Jones versus Tom Aspinall fight continues to build among fans. But all they've been getting so far is just more waiting. Meanwhile, when everyone is thinking of Aspinall as the biggest threat to the John Jones title reign, Joe Rogan has explained why he thinks Tom Aspinall has no chance against the champ John Jones. Joe Rogan described John Jones as MMA's boogeyman, a feared, dominant force that seems almost untouchable. He joked that death might not have caught him yet, but it's definitely come knocking. Rogan recalled Jones's first fight with Gustafsson, where he had almost no training, yet still rallied late to win. The rematch, he noted, showed what a prepared and motivated Jones looks like, as he easily dominated Gustafsson and proved how much mindset and preparation matter.
You know, you're getting up to elite status where you're calling out John Jones.
Yeah.
Right? That's the boogeyman. Like, John Jones is the boogeyman. And maybe he hasn't died, but he's probably he's probably knocked on the door a couple of times like, what's going on, Death? You in there? When he fought Gustafsson, he had almost no training camp. They said he barely showed up. Like, you know, I talked to Jackson about it, and Greg Jackson was telling me, he's like, he didn't even train for that fight.
Wow.
He didn't even train, and then he pulled that fight off in the 4th and 5th rounds. That's when he like really turned it up. So you're talking about a guy who hasn't even been training, and then you saw the real John Jones in the second fight. That's motivated John Jones, who's like, I'm gonna show you what the is really up. And then he just beats the shit out of Gustafsson in the second fight.
Joe Rogan said John Jones dominates everyone, pointing out that he even took down Daniel Cormier, who is an Olympic-level wrestler. He called Jones a different dude, saying it's not just genetics, but also his mindset. Rogan emphasized Jones's ruthless competitiveness and determination to win. He's not the type to brawl or trade shots in the center of the octagon, as he fights smart, stays out of danger, and always finds a way to beat you.
John dominates everybody. He took down Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier is an Olympic wrestler. I mean, he's a phenomenal wrestler. And John took him down, and took him down multiple times. It's a different dude, man.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about, like with genetics, right? There's some guys, they're just blessed. And then with John, it's blessed and his mind. It's not just, it's his personality, his like ruthless competitiveness. It's like, he's not going to lose. He's going to find a way to get you. And he's going to do it clever. He's not trying to take a bunch of punishment and stand and bang. He's not going to point the center of the octagon. Let's go right here. We'll stand right here. Never going to happen with John Jones. You're not getting none of that, son.
Joe Rogan described how dangerous John Jones is in a fight. He said Jones attacks with knees to the body, kicks to the legs, and sharp elbows that can cause cuts and bleeding. Rogan explained that Jones slowly breaks his opponents down, eventually submitting them or beating them badly on the ground.
You're getting knees to the gut. You're getting your knees kicked. You're getting just laced up with elbows where your head's bleeding. He's going to slowly dismantle you and find a way to submit you or punish you, beat you to death on the ground.
However, Joe Rogan expressed concern that Tom Aspinall's speed and athleticism could be a real threat to John Jones. While Jones is known for breaking opponents down with elbows, kicks, and ground and pound, Rogan worries that Aspinall's rare combination of size and quickness might make him difficult to control or slow down.
But can he do that with a guy like Aspinall, who's a legit 255-pound natural who moves like he's 80 pounds lighter? He's a freak, man.
Yeah.
Aspinall's a freak. Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight, even Francis, who's like the greatest scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real problem. That's a real problem.
Joe Rogan further acknowledged Tom Aspinall for his speed and said he might be the fastest heavyweight in MMA history. He emphasized that no one moves like Aspinall does at over 250 pounds, calling his movement extraordinary. Rogan said Aspinall's speed and agility are rare and pose a serious challenge for anyone. On top of that, he praised Aspinall's striking, one-punch knockout power, black belt level jiu-jitsu, and solid wrestling, making him a complete and dangerous fighter.
Aspinall's one of the fastest heavyweights. He might be the fastest heavyweight in the history of the sport. I don't think anybody moves like that guy does. At a 250 plus pound frame, his movement's f***ing extraordinary. And that's something you have to deal with. Like, that is a crazy ability. Like, his ability to move, like the way he moves, is so much different than everybody else in the sport. Incredible stand-up, knocks guys out with one punch, black belt in jiu-jitsu, really good wrestler, his everything, and he's young.
Joe Rogan also noted that Jon Jones has experience dealing with fast, agile opponents like Alexander Gustafsson and Lyoto Machida during his time at light heavyweight. Jones proved he could manage speed and technical striking at the highest level. However, Rogan stressed that there's a major difference between getting hit by a fast light heavyweight and taking shots from someone like Tom Aspinall, who combines that same speed with heavyweight power. That blend of size and quickness, he said, is a whole new kind of threat.
But Jon has been used to fighting guys like Alexander Gustafsson, guys who are really fast at light heavyweight. So the speed is not going to be as much of an adjustment. Like, Jon's used to really fast people. He fought Lyoto Machida when Machida was in his prime. Machida was a lightning bolt, man. And he caught Jon a bunch of times. But then there's the thing of getting caught by Lyoto Machida is not like getting caught by 255-pound Tom Aspinall.
Joe Rogan also admitted that it's hard to bet against Jon Jones. However, he pointed out that Jones isn't a true heavyweight as he still weighs around 230 pounds and could likely make light heavyweight again if he adjusted his diet. Rogan emphasized that Jones hasn't added a lot of mass. Despite not being a natural heavyweight, Jones always had a reputation for dominating bigger guys in the gym. Rogan recalled stories, including one from Brendan Schaub, who said Jones used to beat up heavyweights at Jackson Wink and called him a freak for how easily he handled much larger opponents.
So what's your prediction if it happens?
It's hard to bet against Jon. It's hard to bet against Jon. But Jon's not a real heavyweight. Yeah. Jon could make light heavyweight, 100%. He weighs 230 right now, maybe a little less than 230. There's no doubt in my mind that if Jon just changed his diet and went back, he hasn't put that much mass on that you would say 205 is out of reach.
No, it's fluffy weight.
Yeah.
A lot of it too.
Yeah, I mean, look, he had always had the reputation of f***ing all the heavyweights up at Jackson Winklejohn. Always. Everybody said, like, when Brendan went down and trained with him, Brendan was a heavyweight, Brendan Schaub, he's like, he me up. He goes, dude, I was like top 10 in the world as a heavyweight. I thought I was the me up. He goes, he beat my ass. And he goes, he beat everybody else's ass too. All the other heavyweights, ragdoll dudes way bigger than him. He's just a freak.
On the other hand, despite all this hype, the Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall fight is yet to be officially announced and confirmed. Aspinall seems to be ready for this fight, but Jon Jones hasn't officially accepted his call-out. Chael Sonnen speculated that Jon Jones hasn't confirmed a fight with Tom Aspinall due to concerns about his future if he's no longer the champion. Sonnen suggested that Jones, now 36, may feel uncertain about his career path, especially with Aspinall, a younger rising star on the rise. He questioned why the UFC still holds the belt with Jones, implying that if they knew what to do with him beyond being champion, they would have made it clear by now.
Jon is a concern. They don't know what to do with me if I'm not champion. And if Tom beats me and he doesn't give me a rematch, or they won't guarantee me a rematch, what do they plan to do with me? I gained an understanding to the inside of Jon. If that in fact is accurate information, that Jon is worried about an immediate rematch and doesn't believe he's gonna get it, then look at the board and see that he's 36 and on his way out, and this guy is 20-something Aspinall on his way up, and he even questions why they left the belt with him, to the point that he's saying if they knew what to do with me not as champion, they'd have already done it. That's very objective. So is it as simple as guaranteeing John a rematch? Very interesting point.
Meanwhile, UFC icon Georges St-Pierre is excited about this potential matchup and shares his thoughts on it, calling Jon Jones arguably the greatest fighter of all time. He spoke highly of Jones's complete skill set and unmatched dominance in the sport. St-Pierre even said that if he had to pick one fighter in their prime for a hand-to-hand fight in a Roman-style coliseum, Jon Jones would be his choice. According to him, there's hardly any valid argument against Jones's legacy in MMA.
You talk about legacy, like Jon Jones, it's probably the best fighter that ever lives. Talk about if I have to choose someone in his prime that I put in the Coliseum hand to hand, I think it would be Jon Jones. It's hard to deny that.
Georges St-Pierre further acknowledged Jon Jones as one of the all-time greats in MMA, but noted that even the best can't escape the effects of time. He pointed to Tom Aspinall's current rise and said a showdown between them would be compelling to watch. Speaking as a fan, St-Pierre expressed interest in seeing the fight happen, noting Aspinall's hunger and determination. He raised the key question of whether Jones still has the motivation to compete at the highest level. St-Pierre also mentioned that with the right offer from the UFC, this bout could turn into a massive spectacle.
However, nobody beats time, and Tom Aspinall is on a hell of a run now. So it's to see how they get a match. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. As a fan, I want to see this fight. I would like to see this fight, but I think Tom is very hungry, and it's up to Jon to see if he still wants to do this and if the UFC can compensate him good, because I think he deserves it. So
UFC Hall of Famer Michael Bisping shared his thoughts on a possible clash between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall, calling Aspinall one of the most talented fighters of this new era. While he acknowledged Jones's legendary status and unbeaten record, Bisping suggested that even the greatest eventually find a worthy challenger, and Aspinall might just be that. He highlighted Aspinall's rare mix of speed, agility, and technique, qualities that set him apart from the typical heavyweight known more for raw power than finesse.
Who wins? Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. I've actually had Tom Aspinall on the channel. I mean, Tom's a small favourite, isn't he?
Yeah, no, and he should be. He should be. Listen, Jon Jones is great, and you can't deny what he's done in the octagon, the career that he's had, and he's technically unbeaten. However, everyone meets their match eventually, and I think Tom Aspinall's the new generation. He's the new breed, and he'll go down probably as the greatest mixed martial artist that we've ever had. He's elite as a heavyweight. A lot of the heavyweights, they're good, they're very strong, they're powerful, but they're not as quick and as agile and as technical as Tom.
Michael Bisping praised Tom Aspinall's all-around skill set, comparing him to a heavyweight version of Georges St-Pierre. He highlighted Aspinall's knockout power, discipline, and agility, emphasizing that he finishes opponents quickly and efficiently. However, Bisping pointed out that Aspinall has yet to face someone like Jon Jones. He noted that the technical level of competition in the heavyweight division isn't on the same level as Jones's past opponents, and that Jones has fought a far tougher array of fighters.
Tom's like a heavyweight Georges St-Pierre. He's got no weak areas. He's got absolute knockout power, super disciplined, super agile on the feet. He finishes everyone really, really quickly. However, he hasn't gone up against somebody like Jon Jones because, as I said, the competition in the heavyweight division isn't necessarily there on a technical level. Jon Jones is, and Jon Jones has fought way better competition than Tom. That's just a fact.
Michael Bisping also pointed out that Jon Jones has never faced someone like Tom Aspinall, especially someone of his size and power. While Jones has fought heavyweights like Cyril Gane and Stipe Miocic, Bisping emphasized that Gane was taken down quickly and submitted, and Miocic, though highly skilled, was 42 years old and coming off a long layoff. In contrast, Tom Aspinall is 31 and in the prime of his career. Bisping mentioned that while it might sound disrespectful, he'd be surprised if Jones made it out of the first round with Aspinall.
But John's never fought anyone like Tom either. John has never fought anyone the size of Tom, and that can generate that kind of power. He had 2 heavyweight fights, one against Cyril Garner, who took him down really quick and he choked him out. And then he went up against Stipe Miocic. He was really good, and you know, he had a good little go, but he was 42 and he hadn't fought for a while, and he's getting on. Tom's 31, in the prime of his life. And I would be very surprised, and this sounds disrespectful, but I'd be very surprised if he got out the first round.
Michael Bisping further expressed full confidence in Tom Aspinall's abilities, declaring that he could beat anyone on the planet. He called Aspinall the baddest man on the planet and said that no man alive can defeat Aspinall in a proper fight. Bisping emphasized that he truly believes this and sees Aspinall as the rightful next in line for a shot at greatness.
I believe that beats anybody. I believe it beats everyone on this planet. He is the baddest man on the planet, for sure. That's why I said on the broadcast, I said, no man alive. No man alive can beat Tom Aspinall. Proper fighting man. And I mean that. I truly, truly mean that. He's got to be the next in line.
Australian heavyweight Tai Tuivasa shared his thoughts on a potential matchup between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall, saying that if anyone can beat Jones right now, it would be Aspinall. He pointed out that Tom is much younger and believes Jones is no longer in his prime, with one foot out the door as he gets older. Still, Tuivasa called Jones the greatest of all time and said there's really no debate, even acknowledging some of the wild things Jones has done outside the cage.
I think if there's anyone to beat Jones, it would be Tom.
He's a lot younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jones in his prime, I think, would destroy him. But right now,
anyone's ever beaten Jones?
Yeah. He's got one foot out the door now. He's getting up there in age.
Yeah, he's on his way out, that's for sure.
You think he's the GOAT?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think it's close.
Yeah. He does some crazy shit outside the ring, but
so do you.
UFC lightweight fighter Chase Hooper thinks Jon Jones is approaching the twilight of his career, but still possesses the necessary skills and experience to come out on top. He predicts that Jones will likely neutralize Tom Aspinall's wrestling and outscore him, although he doesn't anticipate an exciting fight. Nonetheless, Hooper believes this will be another win for Jones, demonstrating his ability to control the fight and claim victory.
I mean, John's he's on the way out. I still think he gets it done, though. He's just so savvy, and I think he'll be able to maybe deny the wrestling and honestly just kind of outpoint him. I don't think it'll be a super fun fight, but I think it'll be another win for Jon Jones.
UFC welterweight fighter Carlos Prates shared his views on the potential clash between Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones, expressing respect for both fighters. While recognizing Aspinall's impressive abilities, Carlos Prates made it clear that he is a big fan of Jon Jones. He hailed Jones as the top fighter in the world, strongly believing that no one can defeat him.
Bro, you know, Tom Aspinall is really good, but I'm really big fan of Jon Jones, you know, and Jon Jones is the kind of guy, #1 in the world. Nobody can beat him. I don't know, I think Jon Jones.
Well, with the anticipation for Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall reaching new heights, the fight is still a mystery that fans can only hope will be booked soon. While some, like Joe Rogan, may doubt Aspinall's chances against the champ, the MMA world is buzzing with speculation and excitement. As we wait for confirmation, one thing is clear: the showdown between these two fighters would undoubtedly be a spectacle. Let's see if the UFC makes it happen soon. Until then, stay tuned and keep the conversation going.